Good morning, traders. It is 8:01 a.m. Chicago time on Monday, the 6th of June, 2022. Thanks for joining me on episode number 2247. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. I'd appreciate a mic check. That would be very, very cool. Just tell me if I'm loud and clear. Here's the Conversion Trading pre-market summary sheet. We've got a risk on sentiment this morning, really on the back of China. China COVID reopening news. There are indications that the tech sector there is revving up, and the market is loving it. As you can see, the Nasdaq's really strongest in the U.S. indices, up 152 basis points, 190 points for the Nasdaq, trading at 12,741. The S&P is going to see a gap up above Friday's range, but still remaining within Thursday's wide-ranging body. So it'll be interesting to see what the market does. And this is the Monday after non-farm payroll, which traditionally, statistically speaking, would be a fairly quiet Monday. So there's that, increasing PMIs in Asia. And then, of course, there's some news on, unfortunately for him, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is going up on a confidence vote. Historically, this has not boded well for the incumbent, for the person sitting there. Those who go up on a confidence vote generally quit or really lose a lot of influence. The consensus from several conservative MPs is that between 120 and 130 Tory MPs will say they have no confidence in Boris Johnson today. This is not a good sign for him. The ECB is expected to raise interest rates by 150 basis points by December, and the BOE is expected to increase by 50 basis points by December. This is not such a bad thing. It's fighting inflation, but overall the market's in a good mood this morning. As we come in, Europe is relatively strong. We're seeing crude holding on to these prices near the $120 mark. Crude has come off this morning from a high of $120.99. It opened at $120.82. Saudi Arabia is quoting crude prices higher as it ships, and it's really buoying the energy market there. It's just there's no backing off of these prices for crude at the moment, and of course this is driven by several factors, chief of which is the Russian supply coming offline, which is great for India because it just keeps buying Russian oil, tons of it. Today the calendar's quite light. There are a few items on the calendar that are considered two-star or second tier. No top-tier items this morning. Let's turn our attention to a couple things on this. I want you to note the rotations for this week. Again, this is a statistical analysis that occurs every Sunday afternoon. We look at the prior week's rotations, and we study what is a normal rotation given the current conditions, and the rotations have fallen quite a bit. This was 13 the prior week. This was somewhere in the 50s, 54. This was almost 6 points. The Dow, I don't remember. This was about 47 cents. So we're seeing a pretty dramatic drop in the harmonic rotations that we study. And again, these are based on a 1-minute bar chart. We are A rotation is the peak, which is made up of a 3-bar peak, a market structure high, market structure 3-bar market structure low. We look at how far how big the swing is. We put that on a histogram. We figure out the mode, and we figure out the first standard deviation based on the mode, not the average. And what this is saying is up to 9.5 points in the ES is considered normal. Traditionally, normal for the ES is around 3.5 points or so. And it's been really high for quite some time. So I just want you to observe the rotations. The ranges have remained the same. They really haven't changed that much. 71 points, up to 71 points in the ES on any given day is considered normal. The mode on that, I think, is around 50. That's the most common range for the day. This is RTH only, by the way. Note it says RTH only. That's the equity session from 9:30 Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern close. 314 is the range, the normal range, up to 314 points in the NQ, which is just tremendous. 49.5 for the Russell, 490 in the Dow, and $2.70 in crude oil. These are all considered relatively normal days. Focusing our attention on the ES. The ES is in a multi-distribution, if not almost a P shape, but it's not really a P shape because we have a middle distribution. We'll look at that in a minute. We have a multi-distribution profile in the ES. 190,000 contracts traded, 190,000. You can see that it's not colored. 190,000 is very close to the mode, which you see below for the overnight statistics. 170,000 is the mode. We're at 190,000, so we can conclude that this is a fairly normal amount of volume for the overnight session, nothing dramatic. The inventory is 95% long, meaning 95% of the volume that went off since the open has occurred above the prior settlement or the prior closing price. Those can vary. For the close and settlement can vary by a little bit. I believe we're using settlement here. 95% of the volume is long. The range is outstanding, 54.50. It's above the 47 one standard deviation of range. So we have a fair amount of activity this morning. So coming in, we know the volume's light. We know the inventory's quite long, so the market's quite bullish. This is very likely to cause a bit of a pullback on the open at some point to rebalance inventories. You know, my guess is we're likely to see a test into the 39 to 35 range this morning, 41.39 to 41.35. We'll look at that in a minute. The point of control is above the 150 mid-century figure. The point of control is at 41.52. And it's at the upper distribution of the range. So it looks like it is not done to the long side, the high being 41.59. Okay, so that's all of it. Crypto's taking a bit of a bounce, but you know it does its thing. It bounces and then it doesn't, and then it bounces and then it doesn't. So let's take a look at what the overall market conditions are. What is going on here? Let's see. Okay. The overall market conditions. So looking at the delta, the very large lots have been quite flat in this rally. We expect large lots, very large lots, which is 100 lots or bigger, to be pretty active in a 54-point range. But as the overnight volume says, there isn't all that much aggression there. And then it looks like the move up, the delta, was carried by small lots, which are 1 to 9 lots, and they're handing off control right in here. They're handing off control to the larger lots. So to me, this looks like from about 6 a.m. Chicago time or so, more sizes coming in to lift, and it's putting us near these highs. So this is that high is relatively weak. I'm expecting it to continue higher. I'm still expecting this to pull back. Looking at the TPO picture, We have been in balance now for a few days. Look at Friday non-farm payrolls. We ended up just closing a little bit negative. We opened up here, we closed down here. We're on top of this big area now, which we've been a part of for several days. The point of control in this area, the MC point of control, I believe is 4117. Let me look at that if I'm right. 4117. And I'm looking at the range of the 27th of May to Friday, the 3rd of June. 4117 has been the balance point, and we are in the upper part of this. So we are challenging these highs this morning, but we've been in balance now the entire week. Last week, several sessions, and we remain in this area, which is kind of expected. It looked like we are rotating out. We're starting to rotate over. I talked about this on Wednesday. Then Wednesday we came in, we opened down here, tested down, and we finished extremely bullish on Thursday, and only to come in on Friday and find that we are selling off. We started Friday, breached, pushed up to 41.89. The high here is 41.79. We pushed to 41.89, and we sold off, and then we ended up opening down Friday down at 41.25, and we ended up closing somewhere in the 41.07. Settlements 41.07 on Friday. So to me, this was just a chip chop type of day, and it appears to be taking in a lot of energy here. You can see there's a lot of time being spent here. Let's look at the volume picture. So this is the overall volume picture. This is a 1 tick by 20 chart. We are last week we put in a higher low, higher high on the weekly. It's pulling in the volume data right now, and we have consolidated down here. On Friday, we consolidated down here, and we have broken higher, and this is where that 41.34.35 retest is expected to come from. So we've had a pretty decent run, and we have consolidated up here, and we're holding steady up here, with 41.17 being the point of control in this area. The combined, this point of control right here is showing you the combined day or full session, day and Globex mixed. But for day only, the point of control is 41.17, which is beneath us. So looking bullish, and if we zoom in a little bit, we see that the point of control is at the upper end of the range above the 150, and it's holding on to this upper range here. I am expecting that it's very, very likely to retest down here. It did retest Friday's high-ish area on the pullback in the overnight session and held, but any test lower would give us a target of 41.34.35, and that's what it looks like. 41.89 is the high, and then we open the door to 4,200 once that's taken out. So to me, this looks an awful lot like it wants to continue higher, but hey, look, we are still inside of this crazy Thursday range, which is a multi-distribution profile. We may remain trapped in here today. Am I expecting it to go up and take out this 41.80, this point of control up here, or the high? Probably not. We do expect a decent amount of range, but this morning I'm looking for it to push higher into the 41.70, push into the 41.75 or so, this area right here, 41.75, but overall I expect it to fail back and potentially test down to 41.35 before it bounces. So we'll get a higher high, higher low against Friday's range. Friday's range is inside of Thursday, so this thing's compressed. But I'm not expecting a dramatic move today. There's just, unless news comes out, there's just no catalyst that I see on the calendar or overall to really push a repricing in terms of prices. Now, at any time, news could come in and change things. Also, if you look at the order flow, let's close this. If you look at the order flow, this is my footprint chart, and to me, this is lower high, pull back, push higher, and you still have these kind of V bottom tweezer top. See, this is a tweezer top here type of trades. And what happens here is the market moves very directionally with some aggression. You can see the delta down here, nice and bright red, and so on. And then it takes it right back. We're continuing to see a higher time frame using the futures market for hedges, which is what it's designed to do, what it's intended to do. So we see a lot of these moves that just kind of whipsaw around, again, as highlighted by this. So you have a lot of imbalances on the way down. To me, this kind of move on the way down would have me looking for shorts somewhere in this area here, trading for the imbalance and looking for a low to secure risk and a continuation lower. But what it does is it pushes back up, and you can see there's a battle here at the area where I would have gotten short against this collision right there, and it resolves through it and goes all the way back up, only to put in a higher high, higher low bar next. We expect this to continue. My point is, we expect this to continue in today's session. We expect these whipsaw bars, and as a result, I would recommend to you not to dive in head first, trying to trade the open as it opens. From a heat map perspective, we see a lot of block trades. So this is an MBO. This is the MBO data. You can see there's a large block, partial large block, large block, large block, and the book is full of these. They do trade out these days. When we see a large block like here, 236,000 or 236 lots, you can see there was a collision here. My expectation is as it pushes back to 45, it'll likely struggle here, push through, pull back to the 45, and continue if it wants to continue, which doesn't guarantee anything. You can see a very clear V bottom here. This was that V bottom I showed you on the footprint. So, the overnight session doesn't necessarily speak to what participants will do in the day session, but it really sets the mode. It sets the mode for how things are likely to be handled. We have quite a bit of distance to our point of control below. I want to show you the composite here for a second. Let's jump into our review segment. This is the composite chart. The composite chart is a daily chart made up of RTH bars, or day session bars. And I put these boxes on here because I want to highlight where balance and imbalance is. Very, very, very important for me to recognize and highlight balances and imbalances in the auction. So you can see we've been in a balance from Friday the week before Memorial Day all the way to last Friday, non-farm payroll. Look at how small that range is on Friday. I mean, on Friday, we only did 45.5 points of range. The day before that, we did 104 points, and we are holding right in this box. And so it's really important for the sellers to battle that 4176 area. 4176 to 4180 is an important battleground. But once it clears this space, now we're into the 4220, which is the target, as I said. If we take out the 200, 4220 is next. And then 4343 right here. 4343. That's the next big area, right? So once we take out this high, we go into this low volume zone back to 4343. If we clear 4343, then we're looking at 4010, but the big number, the big magnet, becomes the big balance area at 4460. So 4460 becomes the major target. If we take out 43.43, we trade one level at a time. We trade one level, the next to the next to the next to the next. And right now it looks like we're still stuck in this box. So again, what does that mean? It means come in today knowing that you're still in overall balance. Last week's point of control for this entire for the entire week was 41.4750. 41.17 is the balance, is the most traded price for this zone, which includes the week before Friday, so it drops the point of control down. But overall, we are in balance. And having seen who's participating in terms of delta in the overnight session, and having seen how it's trading and how the market's littered, the depth is littered with large blocks, looking at Rhythmix MBO data on Edge Pro X, as I just showed you, we can tell that it's likely to be quite whipsawy and choppy. And so the conclusion is, because we are in range of this balance area, and because of the way it's been trading, we're likely to see a very, very choppy open. It may require us to just wait out even the first hour, let the IB form. Unless I see good scalps, I'm expecting scalps only for most of the day. Other than that, just relax. Really important to relax. I want to ask you, this isn't quite a trade wisdom segment that I want to do right now. I'm not going to draw any lines on here. This thing could do whatever. I mean, looking at where we are this morning, well, let's do a quick expectation here. Let me set up this chart. So what are we expecting for today? Okay, chart's ready, and off we go. So here we are holding this box up here. So see this box? Really important to know when the market's in balance and out of balance. So it's the overnight session already tested that high from Friday, which is at 41.42 and a quarter. So it's formed a box here, and we are inside of this box. So chip, chop, very, very likely choppy session. I expect us to respond back, take out this last low of 42 and push to 35 right here. This is a stock zone. This puts us in range of the full session VWAP, full session mid. Okay, so I expect us to pull back into the 35, 31 area, this zone, this little chop zone right here, puts us inside of the VWAP and mid for the session. Then I expect us to push back. We have our magnet, our key magnet for the session here. So I expect us back over the 41.50. And then I'm looking for this thing to push higher through 41.59 and potentially challenge a 41.75 before it peters out. Not expecting a higher low, higher high. That's your primary scenario. It's moving with the way the auction is going currently. I don't expect us to really have a reversal today. Not too much to price in right now. The secondary is an open auction that tests early, pushes the 41.65, 41.70 area right here. So 65, 65.70. Okay. And then if it gets an impulse lower back to the open, then I'm looking for a short to test the 35. So I'm looking for a run from about 52, 53 to 35 with about 3 points of risk, good R factor, and then it's likely to just come right back into the balance of Friday. Friday's balance is 41.07 is the point of control. 41.07 is the prior settlement. 4100 is the prior close, not 4100. Yeah, 4100 is the prior close. Is that correct? No, it's not. 4108. 4108. Let me correct that. 4108. So 4107, 4108. So let's mark this. Area becomes the area to touch, tag, and bounce. Okay, so we still get a higher high, higher low, and then it'll be very important for buyers on Tuesday to really lift this thing and push it through the 4,200 to get paid. Those are the two main scenarios. Good luck today. And I was going to get into some trader wisdom. I'll let you go. It's getting late. Good luck, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.